just drop this over in my school to let them know we are live on YouTube for our Sunday live stream. Every single Sunday, I go live and I'm reading The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard. So let me just see here. Make sure we're coming through loud and clear. Hello, Libby Lou. Hello, you guys on TikTok. What's going on? Welcome. I'm excited to have y'all over here today. Let's see here. Let's make sure. What's going on? Oh yeah. Ooh, listen at that sound. That sound is good. Okay. Awesome. 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 Hey, you guys. Darren, Heath, what's up and welcome. All right. So let's drop this over in my school. Let them know that we are actually live for our Sunday. Every single Sunday, you guys, I go live and we discuss The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard. I am a Law of Assumption student for sure. Love the teachings of Neville Goddard. And so every Sunday I go live and I teach from that particular line of work. So let's go this way here on YouTube. Let's go this way. And let's just pull you guys here. I'm actually going to take a seat here while we go through this. And so I'm gonna work out this camera situation. Okay. So you guys just bear with me because I'm going to be streaming on both platforms and not something that I actually normally do. So y'all bear with me. I'm gonna try to do my best to speak to both cameras and make sure that I'm talking to both of y'all as we go through this. So awesome. Okay, so happy Sunday. Welcome to our live stream. I'm so excited to have you all here with me on this Sunday. We're going to be talking about the power of awareness. And I love the teachings of the law of assumption, because whatever you assume to be true, that's going to be true for you, right? So if you assume that your dating life is trash, it's going to be trash. Okay, whatever you assume to be true, that's going to be the truth for you. And so I have started reading, you guys, this book. It is The Power of Awareness. We are actually on chapter 10 this week. And so so definitely, you guys, if you haven't already grabbed the book, be sure I would definitely recommend you grab this actual book and read along with me. Okay, so I'm going to start on chapter 10. I'm going to just do the reading or whatever, and I'll discuss as well things that come up and stuff. I'll definitely share with you guys my ahas that come up through this actual reading as we go along. Okay, all right, so chapter 10, it says, I am God, declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times things that are not yet done. That's Isaiah 46:10. Neville Goddard was someone who used the Bible to do his teaching. So he taught the Bible, though not as a moral book where it was a God that was trying to penalize you, for everything. He taught it more so as in a metaphysical way. He taught it like a metaphysical way where, you are the actual main character in the actual book. So that's how he actually taught it. And so that's how I'm going to be teaching it to you guys as well, how we're going to be going through this on this actual text. Okay. No. Okay. So, so creation is finished. All right. Creativeness is also a deeper receptiveness for the entire contents of all time and all space, while experience in a time sequence actually coexistent in an infinite and eternal now. All right. So if you wonder what I'm reading The Power of Awareness. Okay. Neville Goddard. Okay. All right. So creation is finished. Right. So creation is finished. And that's something that is hard for many of us to actually grasp and understand. Even myself, it's like creation is finished. And so the reason why that matters so much is because whatever you desire, right? The things that you actually desire, the reason why you desire those things is because there is a version of you that already has those things. Okay. And so that's why, because creation is finished. Creation is finished. So people who, you're like, oh, some of you guys that may watch me on TikTok, you're like, oh, I really want a great partner. Oh, I really want to get married. Oh, I really want to do this. The only reason why you have those desires is because there is a version of you that has those desires. So it's okay. You don't need to go into fasting and praying and all that kind of stuff. Oh, if this be the Lord, if this be God's will, what are you talking about? It's God's will because God gave you the desire. Right? It's like it's God's will because God gave you the desire. And so usually people will say stuff like that, like, oh, if it's God's will, because you really want to cop out. You want to cop out just in case it doesn't actually happen. It gives you a way out. It gives you a way to say, oh, well, that just wasn't God's will. No, that's not the truth. Okay. You wouldn't have the desire if it weren't already something that you could actually have in this actual life. Okay. Let's go back to the book. Cause I always get y'all, those that have been watching me on YouTube for like a long time, y'all know how I do on this book. Okay. So creation is finished. That was a really powerful statement right there. Creation is finished. All right. You could just really meditate on that and you would get a lot. Okay. So creativeness is only a deeper receptiveness for the entire contents of all time and all space, while experience in a time sequence actually coexists in an infinite and eternal now. And sometimes he says stuff and I'd be like, what? Anyways, we're gonna keep going. In other words, so now he's gonna break it down for us. In other words, okay. All that you ever have been or ever will be, in fact, all that mankind ever was or ever will be exists now. You got to catch that, right? In other words, all that you ever have been or ever will be, in fact, all that mankind ever was or ever will be exists now. Okay. This is what is meant by creation, and the statement that creation is finished means that nothing is ever to be created. It is only to be manifested. Okay? This is what is meant by creation, and the statement that creation is finished means that nothing is ever to be created. It is only to be manifested. What you want already exists now because creation is finished. It's done. It's a complete work, right? And so I started this whole journey. It's like, the only work for you to do is to decide what you want. That's it. Decide, make a decision. Decide what is it that I actually desire. And then, you know what? And then stand on that, even if in your physical reality, you don't see it. That's right. It's like deny the evidence of your senses. Neville Goddard talking about this. Deny the evidence of your senses, because your 3D, your senses, what you see will likely not match up with what you have decided. And you just keep going until it does. You affirm and affirm and affirm because you are God in flesh. You are God wrapped in flesh. And so whatever you decide, that's it. The end of story, period. Okay. All right. So let's keep going. What is called creativeness is also becoming aware of what already is. Creativeness, you guys, creativeness. Okay. That word. What is called creativeness is only becoming aware of what already is. You're not creative. It's already here. It's already here. And so you're becoming aware. Oh, I could actually have that. Oh, I could actually, me and my sister, and I think my sister just jumped on, right? And so I have a car. I paid off my car and everything, right? Now I'm in my car, you guys, and I'm just like, there are cars that drive much better. They have a better drive. Luxury cars drive better. That's just the way it is, right? And so I'm in my car, I'm thinking like, I actually now want a car that drives better. Right? I'm not even creating anything. I became aware of what already is. So that means that there's already a luxury car that in a version of me that already has it. There's a version of me that's already driving a luxury vehicle. And now my awareness of being is saying, wait, you actually don't like the way this car drives. And the crazy part is you're like, well, you just paid it off. Why would you be trying to go get another car? You just paid a car off. Because we just get to decide to do that. And it doesn't have to make any sense to anybody why I decide what I want is what I want. Period. So I don't know. I don't even know how this car is going to come into my experience. I actually bought the car I have now. I was meditating one day. I was literally meditating. And during my meditation, I got an intuitive nudge to go buy a new car. That's how it happened. That's how I got the one I have now. I got an intuitive nudge to just go buy a new car. Right. And so I just decided to go and buy a new car. It was the easiest car I've ever bought. Literally, I just told the guy, I went there and I was like, I wanted a new car. I said, I want another car. And I wanted a sunroof. I wanted this kind of sunroof, this big, the sunroof was the biggest thing I wanted. Okay. I wanted a sunroof. Now I live in Seattle, Washington. It is not like I'm in California or I'm in Florida or somewhere where that's just like something that you need to have. But I wanted it. And so guess what? You decide. When you decide, the cooperative components of the universe go to work to bring to you what is required for the fulfillment of your desire. That's just it. No explanation needed. Right? So I wanted this sunroof, right? Leather seats. Okay. It had to have heated seats. So I knew the things that I wanted in this vehicle. It needed to have leather seats, right? Heated seats at that. I wanted them to be leather, heated seats and stuff like that, cool down, all that kind of stuff. Those are the things I wanted. Sunroof, and then I wanted to have leather seats that they were heated and all the things, right? So I went to this dealership and I drove a car and stuff, and I was just like, nah, this isn't it. This is not the car. And so he says, well, I have a car. I don't have it on the lot. I mean, I'll have it on Monday. He said, I'll have this car on Monday and you can come back, and we'll get it transferred down to our lot. And then you can actually see it on Monday. I said, fine, perfect. I wasn't in a huge rush. And so I went to the dealership on that Monday because he called me, the car is here. I went to the dealership, I saw it and I was like, it was black. And that was another thing. I wanted a black car. Okay. So I was specific about what do I want, right? I was specific. I wanted a black car, sunroof, leather seats. They need to be heated and all the things, right? And when the car is mine, I saw the car. I opened the door, black leather seats, and it has like this brown trim on it or whatever. Premium. It's like a sports. It's a turbo limited edition of the vehicle and stuff. Oh my God, the sunroof is huge. It's like so open and airy and everything. Heated seats front and back, so even the people that sit in the back could have their butts warm as well and stuff. And I was like, this is my car. I was like, okay, here we go. I'd already been pre-approved, so I didn't need to go and do the financing and all that kind of stuff, whatever, right? So I told the guy, okay, I'm pre-approved. Here's the information for that or whatever. He was like, okay, well, let me do the papers and da da da. I was like, okay, call me when you're done. I'll be back. Right? Literally, that's what I did. I said, call me when you're done. I'll be back. And so by the end of the day or whatever, he calls me, he's like, hey, I got you a better deal than what you actually brought into me. And so he was like, let's talk about the numbers. I was like, absolutely. I went in, we talked about the numbers. It made sense. I signed the papers. I walked out with my car. Out of meditation. This is I was meditating and something said, go buy a car. And I was like, okay. Anyways, let's keep going. I got lots of stories I can tell y'all about how I do life. So you simply become aware of increasing portions of that which already exists. The fact that you can never be anything that you are not already or experience anything not already existing explains the experience of having an acute feeling of having heard before what is being said or having met before the person being met for the first time or having seen before a place or thing being seen for the first time. That was a long sentence. Oh my gosh. Okay, you could have broke that sentence up, right? Okay, so it says so we're talking about, if you guys are just now jumping on, we're reading from The Power of Awareness, Neville Goddard. I am definitely a student of the law of assumption. I just love it so very much. I'm not really a manifestation coach or manifestation teacher. I just believe that you are. You are that I am that I am. And so you're always manifesting. You can't not manifest. It's kind of dumb. I won't say dumb. That's not nice. Okay. But you're always manifesting, whether it's good or bad. You just can't not do it because you are creation. You are creation in itself. So that's what we're reading today. If you're wondering, if you're following me on TikTok, be sure to follow me. I go live every single Sunday. If you're watching me on YouTube, be sure to do the same thing. Hit that subscribe button and click the bell notification. So when I go live, you're notified. If you're watching on TikTok, you want the replay, you can go over to YouTube. She's always manifesting. This is the name of the YouTube channel right today. Okay. Until tomorrow, I may change it. So y'all better keep up. All right. So let's keep going. So I'm going to skip that whole sentence because that was long. The whole of creation. So this is important. Okay. The whole of creation exists in you, and it is your destiny to become increasingly aware of its infinite wonders and to experience ever greater and grander portions of it that you can take to the bank and cash. Okay. The whole of creation exists inside of you. It's in you, not on you. I think Lauren London, somebody said it. It's in you, not on you, right? It's in you. The answer to every problem in your life is in you. The answer, the question, you are the question and you are the answer. You're the problem and you are the solution, right? So everything in your life, that's what you are. You are the answer, okay? So if creation is finished and all events are taking place now, the question that springs naturally to the mind is, what determines your time track? That is, what determines the events which you encounter? And the answer is your concept of yourself. Ugh, I just love this so much, right? Your concept of yourself, you guys, that's your identity. That's how you see you, quite honestly, right? So concepts determine the route that attention follows. This is so good. Here's a good test to prove this fact. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and observe the route that your attention follows. You observe that as long as you remain faithful to your assumption, so long will your attention be confronted with images clearly related to that assumption. For example, if you assume that you have a wonderful business, you will notice how in your imagination, your attention is focused on incident after incident relating to that assumption. Friends congratulating you, telling you how lucky you are. Others are envious and critical. From there, your attention goes to larger offices, bigger bank balances, and many other similarly related events. Persistence in this assumption will result in actually experiencing, in fact, that which you assume. That's why I said when I started, whatever you assume to be true, that will be true for you. So if you assume, okay, that those of you guys who watch me on TikTok that are following my dating content, if you assume that dating is hard, right? If you assume that all men are dogs or all this, anytime you say all, you're already getting yourself in trouble, okay? Because now you're something. It's just too broad, okay? If you assume that making money is hard, it's going to be hard for you. If you assume you have to work hard, if you have to rob Peter to pay Paul, and whatever your assumptions are, that's going to be the truth for you. And there's nothing that anybody can do about that. You can pray and fast. And that's why people spend all their time and energy in churches, year after year, praying and fasting and doing all the things. But you're saying, on the other hand, I am not worthy and I need something outside of me to save me so that I now become worthy. No, sweetheart. And you can slice it however you want to. No. Okay? Like, you're complete. You're whole. You lack nothing. When God created you, it was good. He created you, and I don't like to say he because I don't think God doesn't have a gender to me either. People drag Yolanda Adams, okay, because she was saying God didn't have no gender. I'm like, she was so right? There is no gender. Spirit has no gender, right? So you were created in the image. You are a creation, and you are in the image and likeness of God. Replace the word. For some of y'all, it might be like, oh, I don't do that God stuff. Okay, well, whatever you're gonna say, you are a copy of something else, right? So you are a spirit, okay, having a human experience. You are a spirit living in the body, having a soul. You're having this human experience. God wanted to experience life through you. So here you are, experiencing life, making assumptions, right? Some of us are asleep. Some of us are waking up out of the sleep and we're realizing, holy crap, what is this? Okay. Like, wait a minute, I've been in a trance for the last 50 years, 40 years, however long you've been on this planet. Some of you are like, oh my God, I've been in a sleep. I've been in a trance for a long time, right? So the same is true regarding any concept. If your concept of yourself is that you are a failure, you would encounter in your imagination a whole series of events in conformance to that concept. Thus, it is clearly seen how you, by your concept of yourself, determine your present, that is, the particular portion of creation which you now experience, and your future, that is, the particular portion of creation which you will experience. We are reading from the Power of Awareness. If you guys are just now jumping on, we're reading from the Power of Awareness, okay? We're actually on chapter 10, and I think I'm going to keep on going to chapter 11 today, all right? So that, we get through this before the end of 2026, because right now, at the rate we're going, we're going to be reading this till 2026, okay? Right? So chapter 11 is about interference, okay? Chapter 11, we're on chapter 11. You guys are watching me, we're on interference. If you guys are watching me on TikTok, be sure to hit that follow button and follow. And if you're watching me on YouTube, be sure to hit that subscribe button and drop a comment. Those of you guys are on YouTube, you guys just watching, y'all not saying nothing, y'all just over there lurking, okay, over on YouTube. So awesome. So chapter 11 is interference. You are free to choose the concept you will accept of yourself. Therefore, you possess the power of intervention, the power which enables you to alter the course of your future. The process arising from your present concept to a higher concept of yourself. The process arising from your present concept to a higher concept of yourself is the means of all true progress. The higher concept is waiting for you to incarnate it in the world of experience. Now unto him that is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that worketh in us, unto him be glory. That is Ephesians 3:20. Him that is able to do more than you can ask or think is your imagination. Okay. And the power that worketh in us is your attention. Understanding imagination to be him that is able to do all that you ask, and attention to be the power by which you create your world, you can now build your ideal world. See, when you take your power back, you guys, and not give your power to forces that are outside of you, then you can do some things in creation. But as long as you are a victim, you play the victim of this particular life, then hey, that's what it is for you. So understanding imagination to be him that is able to do all that you ask, and attention to be the power by which you create your world, you can now build your ideal world. Imagine yourself to be the ideal you dream of and desire. Imagine yourself, ladies and gentlemen, imagine yourself to be the ideal you dream of and desire. Remain attentive to this imagined state as fast as you completely feel that you are already this ideal. It will manifest itself as reality in your world. Okay. He was in the world, and the world was made by him, and the world knew him not. The mystery hid from the ages, Christ in you, the hope of glory. The he in the first of these quotations is your imagination. As previously explained, there's only one substance. Okay. There's only one substance. There's only one. Right? As previously explained, there's only one substance. This substance is consciousness. It is your imagination, which forms this substance into concepts, which concepts are then manifested as conditions, circumstances, and physical objects. It is your imagination. Let's do that again. Let's try that again. It is your imagination which forms this substance into concepts, which concepts are then manifested as conditions, circumstances, and physical objects. Thus, imagination made your world. Thank you, Muhammad. Imagination made your world. This supreme truth, with but few exceptions, man is not conscious of. The mystery, Christ in you, referred to in the second quotations, is your imagination by which your world is molded. The hope of glory is your awareness of the ability to rise perpetually to higher levels. Christ is not to be found in history nor in external forms. You find Christ only when you become aware of the fact that your imagination is the only redemptive power. When this is discovered, the towers of dogma will have heard the trumpets of truth, and like the walls of Jericho, crumble to dust. Hello, somebody. Hello. Let's go to chapter 12. We're just going to keep going. Subjective control. We're in chapter 12. We're reading the power of awareness. You guys just now jumping on, right? We're reading the power of awareness. Neville Goddard, okay? Thought leader that wrote back. I don't know when he wrote this stuff, you guys. But he actually wrote these texts and stuff for us to have. And so I am actually Bethany. Thanks for following me. I come on live every single Sunday. I'm normally just on my YouTube, you guys, and sharing, okay, and reading from the power of awareness. And so we are actually getting ready to go into chapter 12, which is called subjective control. Okay, I'll put this light back over here, y'all. Subjective control is the chapter we're on now. Your imagination is able to do all that you ask in proportion to the degree of your attention. All progress, all fulfillment of desire depend upon the control and concentration of your attention. Attention may be either attracted from without or directed from within. I'll read it again. What's up, girlfriend? Hey. Attention is attracted from without when you are consciously occupied with the external impressions of the immediate present. Ooh, y'all, listen to that. Attention is attracted from without when you are consciously occupied with the external impressions of the immediate present. The very lines of this page are attracting your attention from without. I'm attracting your attention from without. Right? I'm attracting your attention from it. And literally that's what we're fighting right about now, quite honestly. We are all fighting. It's a fight for attention. Okay. Who can keep our attention? And we have to maintain control. We have to have control of our attention. So your attention is directed from within. Your attention is directed from within when you deliberately choose what you will be preoccupied with mentally. That's a word. Okay. That's the work right about now. Your attention is directed from within when you deliberately choose what you will be preoccupied with mentally. It is obvious that in the objective world, your attention is not only attracted by but is constantly directed. It is obvious that in the objective world, your attention is not only attracted by, but is constantly directed to external impressions. But your control in the subjective state is almost non-existent. For in this state, attention is usually the servant and not the master, the passenger and not the navigator of your world. There is an enormous difference between attention directed objectively and attention directed subjectively, and the capacity to change your future depends on the latter. Right? It's on you. It's on you, right? The capacity to change your future depends on the latter. When you are able to control the movements of your attention in the subjective world, you can modify or alter your life as you please. This is what it says, y'all. Okay. But this control cannot be achieved if you allow your attention to be attracted constantly from without. This is why meditation was so important, right? Stillness. Be still and know that I am God, right? Stillness, quietness. Be quiet, quiet your mind. I told you guys about me buying a car out of meditation. If I didn't sit quietly enough to be able to, hear, download, um, then it's like, yeah, that's why the fight for our attention. It's like the fight is for our attention. We're like, oh my God, I can't meditate for 5 minutes. Oh my God, it's like, because you have to train your mind, train yourself to be able to sit quietly, to be still and know, right? Be still and know that I am peace. I am love. I am fulfilled. I am safe. I am protection. I am protected. I am loved. I am cherished. I am adored. I'm chosen, right? That's what we have to sit still and be able to say to ourselves, to be able to speak to ourselves, to control and direct our attention and our focus in this very chaotic world we live in, right? Okay, because your the capacity to change your future depends on that. All right. So, right, each day. Okay, so here's what he says, right? Each day, set yourself the task of deliberately withdrawing your attention from the objective world and focusing it subjectively. Each day, right? Spend some time. And you guys, people wanted to make spending time with God like something like, when I think about it now, it's like spending time with God is spending time with myself. Okay? It's like taking some time and do it whenever you want to do it. I don't like to tell people when to do stuff, right? I'm like, oh, well, when you first wake up in the morning, whatever, right? It's whatever you want to do. It's up to you. But taking some time and meditating. Now I understand why I began to understand why breath work was so important, because literally if you stop breathing, your life is over. So what is God? You know what I'm saying? Like how am I connected to God? In my breath. Okay, it's like in with my breath. And so that's why meditation and breathing is so important for the human experience, because that's where we can control our attention and connect and hear and feel and, what I'm saying, and reset and recharge. And that's where we can do those particular things. But we just keep ourselves busy all the time, moving and going and glorifying it, and made it so, oh my God. So, if you don't have a calendar full of stuff to do all day long, you're not real. You don't really want this. You don't want this life. You're not about this business, da 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 da, right? It's like, girl, some of us need to. I quit the internet. Okay, like as far as like being an entrepreneur on the internet, I did it for 10 whole years. And I realized that like my nervous system and entrepreneurship had been just dysregulated and my nervous system had been dysregulated for a long time. It wasn't even entrepreneurship. It had been dysregulated for a long time. I did not know anything about nervous system regulation. I did not know about, the hippocampus and my brain and how this all works and how it all comes together. I didn't know anything. I didn't even know anything about breath and like really in breath work and why breathing was so important, and oxygen and getting oxygen to my brain and everything was so important for me to live a really good life. But now I know, and now I'm going to share it with y'all. Okay. And what's beautiful about it now is like I used to always do stuff, and it was always like something to buy a program, to sell a program, to do this or do that, to get people to buy stuff. And do I have stuff for sale? Absolutely. Because I mean, like I just do, but I don't need you to buy anything. I don't need people to do nothing. You could just come every Sunday, listen to me talk and listen to me download and stuff. And you could just hit in and go off, hopefully you apply some things to your life and hopefully you change your life, and you understand and you realize that you can. Hopefully that's it. And that's good. That's payment for me. Okay. So, but this control cannot be achieved if you allow your attention to be attracted constantly from without each day. Okay. How many of you guys are going to take the challenge with me? Okay. Like 31 days of stillness. What if we did that? You know what I'm saying? What if we did a challenge, y'all? And it's like tomorrow, like 7 days. No, no, no. Let's not do 31 days. Sometimes we be trying to let's do 7 days. What if we started today? We started today. We're like, you know what? I'm gonna deliberately sit still, right? I don't care if you set a timer for 1 minute, right? And it's only 1 minute because chances are it's something that we all have to grow into being able to like really sit quietly because I mean, from little kids, we're just movers. We just move. You know what I'm saying? Like we just be moving, we be on the go, right? And so, you may just start where it's like, okay, for 7 days, I'm just going to intentionally, right? Just sit stop, be still. Just be still. Not I don't have to no, ain't about doing nothing. And this is not for you to do something, for you to get money or for you to get this or for you to get nothing. No, it's for you to have a really good life, just to be who you called to be. That's it. Okay. So if you're taking the challenge, drop a one in the comments. Those of you guys who watch me on YouTube, you're gonna do the be still, 7 day be still. Okay, 7 days gonna be still. Remember, you tell your kids like, sit down, be still. Right? And now we can't do it. Okay. Listen, we try to tell our kids, like, sit down, boy. And now we can't do it. Okay. So drop a one in the comments if you guys are gonna take the 7 days Be Still challenge with Keysha LaShawn. All right. We're gonna be still. Okay, so let's see here. We are going to, let me go with the next line. In other words, concentrate on those thoughts or moods which you deliberately determine. Then those things that now restrict you will fade and drop away. The day you achieve control of the movements of your attention in the subjective world, you are master of your fate. Okay. Okay, I see Carolyn Darton is going to do it. Yay, Carolyn. I see somebody, my YouTube people is going to do it. My TikTok folks, y'all sleeping on the job over here. Awesome. Okay, Carolyn's going to take the challenge. All right. Hey, Diva, welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. So, in other words, concentrate on those thoughts or moods which you deliberately determine. Then those things that now restrict you will fade and drop away. The day you achieve control of your movements of your attention in the subjective world, you are master of your fate. You will no longer accept the dominance of outside conditions or conditions or circumstances. You will not accept life on the basis of the world without. Having achieved control of the movements of your attention and having discovered the mystery hid from the ages, that Christ in you is your imagination. You will assert the supremacy of imagination, and put all things in subjection to it. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. And I think, y'all, that is where we are going to stop for today because chapter 13 is going to be acceptance. We'll come back because, as I said, I am actually live I'm live every Sunday reading this actual body of work. It's called The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard. All right. So if you don't have the book, I just got the book at like half price books. Okay. And so it's a very old piece of work. It's been out there for a minute or whatever, but I just really like it. And it was big. I always tell the story of how I got to this book. Is because I had decided and so those of you guys that follow my TikTok journey, this will be really good for you guys because through dating, I've learned a lot about myself. And so there's a attachment style theory that they have out here now, which is like, you can have these different attachment styles, a secure attachment style, anxious, like there's these different attachment styles. Okay. And so I had started to say I was an anxious attachment style. Okay. So it's like, and so something in me said, why would you call yourself that? Why would you call yourself that? And it had me spiraling, not in a bad way, right? It had me spiraling. And I was like, whatever I say behind I am, that is the truth. That's me saying who I am. And I was just like, you know what? That's not who I am. That's not who I am. I am secure. And so I was like, Keysha, why don't you just call yourself who you are? And do not come into agreement with things that are not in alignment, because that's not what God is. God is not an anxious attachment style. Right? God is secure. And so if you create an image and likeness of God, then why would you call yourself that? And so I just started with this whole I am, right? It was all about the I am. The I am. I am it I don't know if it's on Audible. I'm not quite sure. I don't know if it's on it might be. It's on YouTube though. I'm sure there's a copy on YouTube, right? That you can actually find. So I just started to download the whole concept of the I am. And I was like, I am secure, right? I am chosen. I am adored. I am cherished. And so I just started to say, that's how I choose to be, and that's how I choose to show up in this world. I am secure. I am chosen. I am adored. I am safe, right? And so, and then when I learned about nervous system regulation, then I was, doing like tapping and stuff. And then I would just imagine, like around the area of dating, I would imagine text messages from, like, a gentleman or whatever, and be like, I'm just so in love with you. I think I just adore you. I cherish you. I'm so glad you're in my life. Right. So I just started, that's the assumption. So that's what I decided to assume. I decided to assume that I am safe, I am chosen, I am secure, I am cherished, I am adored, I am loved, I am loving, right? And so that was the I am. Okay. And so that's what I even started this whole I am challenge. Okay. It was like a whole I am challenge. Then something inspired me to read this book. I just started hearing about this Neville Goddard and stuff. And I was like, I decided I was going to read this book. Okay. So I said, I'm going to start with the power of awareness. I decided to have a YouTube channel with 100,000 YouTube subscribers. And so I said, well, I'm just going to, now that I have 100,000 YouTube subscribers, what am I going to do with these people? Like, how am I going to show up and serve these folks? And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to just start reading this book, The Power of Awareness, to my actual YouTube audience, my 100,000 YouTube subscribers. See, I decide what I have. I decide. And then the cooperative components of the universe, they go to work to bring to me what's required for the fulfillment of my actual desire. So I don't do videos to get 100,000 YouTube subscribers. I don't do videos on TikTok to get 1 million followers. I have it already. So now that I have it, I choose to do activities that are in alignment with what I choose to do as a person who already has it. Does that make sense? Drop some fives in the comments if that makes sense, right? I'm not doing anything to get anything. I decide. That's what I have. And because I know that there is a version of me that already has it, that's why I want it. So it's like, it doesn't matter what I do. It don't matter what I do. Okay. It's like, doing is not the part. Deciding is. Deciding and just persisting in the decision. Right. When I started my YouTube journey, because I already had like 30 something thousand subscribers on YouTube. And when I started to do my videos, and I started to I decided I have 100,000 YouTube subscribers, my subscribers actually started to drop. It went down. TikTok, same thing. I decided, because I've been sitting on my TikTok, not doing much of anything, hadn't really figured out who I wanted to be when I grow up, quite honestly. And I decided to have 1 million subscribers, 1 million followers on TikTok. And guess what happens? The analytics showed that every day I'm losing people. Every day I'm losing followers. Okay. I mean, I'm losing more followers than I'm gaining it, and that kept going. But then I didn't let that stop me. I deny the evidence of my senses, right? My senses are my eyes and my ears and my smell and all that. That's your senses, your touch. Okay. In this particular instance, those ladies that are following the feminine energy journey, you do want to be in tune with your feelings and how you can smell and touch and see, and what you see and all that kind of stuff, right? So we're not talking about that. Okay. We're talking about when you have decided that something is yours. A healthy masculine man tall, dark, and handsome, whatever, right? It's like whatever you have decided, okay? Then you deny the evidence of your senses. So I don't care how many podcasts come out and say that we're in a time where healthy love is never going to happen and blah 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 blah, right? We're not in that. We're not in that. Okay, that can be happening, but we're not in that. We have decided, because there's a version of you that has a very masculine, amazing provider man that loves you, adores you, cherishes you, and just worships the ground that you absolutely walk on. There is a podcaster that I follow, a dating coach that I follow, and he says, he said that in the holidays is not a good time to actually meet a man. I beg to differ. Okay. Because I went on a date with a man and I just really like him. He's really kind of cute, and he's tall, right? And he's doing his thing in life, and he's went to therapy. He's doing his healing work. He's done his healing stuff. He likes to travel. He only has one kid. He wants a life partner. He don't want no more kids, right? All the things I've said that I desire so far, so far he's got some definitely some checkpoints. Okay. I don't know if he's the one. I don't really know. That doesn't matter to me, right? But it just goes to show you that, like, you get to, these are your rules. You get to these are your rules. What's the rules you have? So he may tell his people don't date during holidays or whatever, but girl, listen, that ain't the truth. That is not the truth. So anyways, how I got to the book, y'all, because see how y'all let me get off track just like that. I decided to, for my 100,000 YouTube subscribers, and so YouTube, I love you all so much. I love you guys so much. Okay, my YouTube peeps, I love y'all. My TikTok followers, my million TikTok followers, I love you guys as well. I got the book for you guys, and I opened up and I started reading chapter number 1. And what do you know? What's chapter number 1, you guys? You might not be able to look on there, but it says what? I am. I am. I am. And it says consciousness is one manifesting in legions of forms or levels of consciousness. There is not one that is not all that is. For consciousness, though expressed in an infinite series of levels, is not divisional. There's no separation or gap in consciousness. I am cannot be divided. So that means I am cannot be divided. So that means I can't be anxious attachment and then be I'm connected to God. I am can't be divided. I am secure. So I'm not following none of that crap. And it's not crap. Let me not say that, because it is what help you become, to know about yourself and things like that. And sure, you'll learn about what, growing up and what things bothered you growing up and what challenged you growing up and all the things and how you kind of show up in the world. But now you get to just say, I'm secure. I am secure. Because I'm creating the image and likeness of God. So therefore, I am secure. I am cannot be divided. God can't be divided in all these different things and power and no power and whatever. No, God just is. I am. So it says, I am cannot be divided. I may conceive myself to be a rich man, a poor man, a beggar man, or a thief, but the center of my being remains the same, regardless of the concept I hold of myself. At the center of manifestation, there is only one I am. Manifesting in legions of forms are concepts of itself, and I am that I am. I am is the self-definition of the absolute, the foundation on which everything rests. I am is the first cause substance. I am is the self-definition of God. I am hath sent me unto you. Okay? I am has sent me unto you. I am that I am. Be still and know that I am God. I am is a feeling of permanent awareness. The very center of consciousness is the feeling of I am. I may forget who I am, where I am, what I am, but I cannot forget that I am. The awareness of being remains regardless of the degree of forgetfulness of who, where, and what I am. I am is that which amid unnumbered forms is ever the same. The great discovery of cause reveals that, good or bad, man is actually the arbiter of his own fate, and that is that his concept of himself that determines the world in which he lives. In other words, if you are experiencing ill health, knowing the truth about cause, you cannot attribute the illness to anything other than the particular arrangement of the basic cause substance, an arrangement which is defined by your concept, I am unwell. That is why you are told, let the weak say, I am strong, Joel 3:10, for by his assumption, the cause substance I am is rearranged and must therefore manifest that which its rearrangement affirms. Hello and welcome. My name is Keysha LaShawn. You are brand new to me. Listen, I am the number one life coach in this world, helping women remember who they are. I'm the number one life coach in this world, helping women remember who they are. I have 100,000 subscribers on YouTube and 1 million followers on TikTok. Follow me. Follow me. Yes. Okay. Yes. Because if anybody can help you, I can. Okay. So when I picked this up and read, God, I could read this chapter every week. I really could, y'all. I could read this every single time. Okay. And I get on here because it's like I am is the reality to which whatever happens, we must turn for an explanation of the phenomena of life. It is I am's concept of itself that determines the form and scenery of its existence. Everything depends upon its attitude towards itself. That which it will not affirm as true of itself cannot awaken in its world. That is your concept of yourself, such as I am strong, I am secure, I am love, determines the world in which you live. When I saw this, you guys, I was like, you know what, Keysha LaShawn? When I tell you, if your intuition don't be on point, I'm telling you right about now. I was like, no, I'm not declaring it about myself. And so I encourage you all. People tell you, oh, I'm ADHD. I am this. I am that. Why don't you just say I am focused? Because all ADHD is that you're unfocused. And like most of us are. It's like I would beg to differ that every single person on this planet suffers with ADHD. I'm not lying. And I believe it's a real thing. It is. But what I'm saying is, why don't you just say, I am focused? Why don't you declare who you are? Right? Yeah, that's what I decided. And so, in other words, you say, I am a man, I am a father, I am an American. You're not defining different I ams. You're defining different concepts or arrangements of the one cause substance, the one I am. Even in the phenomena of nature, if the tree were articulate, it would say, I am a tree, an apple tree, a fruitful tree. When you know that consciousness is the one and only reality, conceiving itself to be something good, bad, or indifferent, and becoming that which it conceived itself to be, you are free from the tyranny of second causes, free from the belief that there are causes outside of your own mind that can affect your life. Hey, what's up, Samantha? You become free of the tyranny. In the state of consciousness of the individual is found the explanation of the phenomena of life. If man's concept of himself were different, everything in his world would be different. His concept of himself being what it is, everything in his world must be as it is. It is all you. And I will spend the rest of my life on this planet. I probably don't read this chapter every week because I mean, like literally, it is like the key. It is the absolute key. And when I read this, you guys, it changed my world, right? Thus, it is abundantly clear that there's only one I am, and you are that I am. And while I am is infinite, And while I am is infinite, you, by your concept of yourself, are displaying only a limited aspect of the infinite I am. You only got a little bit. You only you only got a little bit. You only displaying a little bit, you guys. And I just, this book is so, I love this book so much. Like I'll probably just, we'll just, yeah. Here was chapter 3. I'm gonna share this with you guys as well, right? Man's chief delusion is his conviction that there are causes other than his own state of consciousness. Man's chief delusion, your chief delusion, and this, they've tricked us so well. Man's chief delusion is his conviction that there are causes other than his own state of consciousness. All that befalls a man or woman, however you want to go with this, all that befalls a human, all that is done by him or her or them, all that comes from him happens as a result of his state of consciousness. A man's consciousness is all that he thinks and desires and loves, all that he believes is true and consents to. That is why a change of consciousness is necessary before you can change your outer world. Rain falls as a result of a change in the temperature in the higher regions of the atmosphere. So, in like manner, a change of circumstance happens as a result of a change in your state of consciousness. It's all you. You can want it to be other people. The work is yours. So the only work you have to do is decide. Decide what you want. Who are you? Who do you say that you are? Who do you say that you are? Not what they told you. Self-love lab, welcome. Who do you say that you are? Because that's all that matters. And your chief delusion is your conviction that there are causes other than your own state of consciousness that's running your life. That's, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. To be transformed, the whole basis of your thoughts must change. To be transformed, the whole basis of your thoughts must change. But your thoughts cannot change unless you have new ideas. For you think from your new ideas. All transformation begins with an intense, burning desire to be transformed. The first step in the renewing of your mind is desire. You must want to be different before you can begin to change yourself. Then you must make your future dream a present fact. You must make your future dream a present fact. Remember, I was telling you guys about my decision. I decided I have 100,000 YouTube subscribers. I decided that. So you have to make your present dream you have to make your future dream a present fact. So I have it already. I have 100,000 YouTube subscribers. I have 1 million followers on TikTok. I have already decided. Okay. So you do this by assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled. By desiring to be other than that which you are, you can create an ideal of the person you want to be and assume that you are already that person. Girl, listen. You can decide. I decided I was going to be someone that's healthy. Went from 175 pounds to 137. When I weighed myself last time, I weighed 137 pounds. I decided. And once I decided, the solution showed up. It had to. It had to show up. All right, you guys. So listen here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Live will end in 5 minutes. Oh, what y'all talking about inactivity? How y'all got it? That's because nobody comments over on TikTok. Y'all got to get it together on TikTok.